Informational,
fun,
timely,
relevant.
That's what people are saying about A to Z in real estate. 30 minutes packed with great info for home sellers, buyers, and investors. And now let's welcome your host, Lizzy Cohen.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to A to Z in real estate. This is your host, Lizzy Cohen, and it's a delight to be here as every Saturday morning from 9:30 to 10. And with me, as always, is Shawn Matthews, my co-host. Welcome to the show, Shawn.
Good morning. Welcome to you. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. So what have you been up to?
It's been a busy week. So a lot of real estate stuff. Had a good closing this week. So very blessed.
Good.
Grateful for the activity.
Yes. Okay, awesome. Well, we're going to jump right in because we only have today 25 minutes to run the show. It's going to be packed with information. We're going to talk about the selling process, what it takes to sell a house. We're going to help, hopefully, those of you out there that are thinking about selling your home or that need to sell your home. We're here to give you some inside scoops about how to go about that. So, Shawn, what is the process of selling? Well, what is the first thing somebody needs to do?
So they would contact an agent, right, or a real estate firm, inquire, and say, I'm thinking about selling my house. They'll make that contact, reach out. They'd probably reach a Lizzy or a Shawn, right, and schedule an appointment for a consult. So that would be the first thing.
That's the first thing.
Yep.
And by the way, we're going to have a show that we'll talk about that it's really not a good idea to do for sale by owner. And we will give the reasons why. And it sounds self-serving, I know.
Right.
But that is the truth. We will actually show people that most of the time they end up making less money, running unnecessary safety risks,
sure,
and a myriad of other things that are involved in selling your home on your own when you really are not a realtor. You don't really know.
Right. A lot of paperwork.
A lot of paperwork.
A lot of things
with legal implications.
Certainly.
Yeah, but that's a subject for another program. So find an agent, and then of course with that agent you sign a listing agreement.
Sure. So they're gonna vet through an agent, and there time comes that they say, yep, we're in agreement.
Yes.
We want to move forward. So
what's in the listing agreement?
So it's really pretty basic stuff. How much they're going to ask for the home. It's engaging us to work for them. So there's some discussion about agency. That we're a designated agent for that seller.
Right.
So it's gonna speak to that we represent them, and their interests in that transaction. So anybody else that comes across their threshold is working for the buyer would be have an agent representing them. We would be representing the seller.
Right.
At that point. So again, the points of the listing agreement is going to have price, how long the engagement, what type of fixtures would stay, refrigerator, range, dishwasher, things like that. Attachments, window treatments, shades and things like that.
Things like that.
And then the exclusions, the play Ford out in the backyard is not included. Gas tank might be leased, so there'll be a couple of things that would be in that agreement. And there's other points to it, and again, 25-minute show, it's hard to go down the Foreign Investment Tax Act and things like that.
Right.
But, an agent is going to go over those points with you and share with, the pertinent facts, of
Yes.
it. But, again, it'll say that, if you were the listing agent, it would designate you as the seller's agent, meaning that you work for them. And I, at the same company, could bring a buyer, for that home, and I don't work directly for the seller. I would probably be representing a buyer.
The buyer.
So.
And along those lines, also in the listing agreement, we have the compensation. How much our services will be offered for,
Right.
and all the benefits that come along with our services. The listing agreement has, I thought we had a copy of it, we have a copy of it, not that people can actually read it, but this is what it looks like. It's a 9-page, I think it's it's a 9-page document with a lot of information and specifics about the selling process, what our commitment will be with the seller, and what the responsibilities of the sellers are too. For instance, a seller needs to be cooperative in letting us show the house and make it available, keep it clean and presentable and in showing condition.
Right.
We discuss, very important, we discuss with the sellers the stage during which the property will be shown, right? So showings.
Right. So this is going to be a multiply listed property. So we're
Right.
gonna co-broke. So we're going to share that commission for anybody that would participate. So another agency could, will have access to the data, and they'll be coming to look at it. So we want to put our best foot forward, with all
absolutely.
the details and information when we syndicate the listing. And that's important to know. That everybody has the same playbook. They're going to have access to it, but we want to communicate a concise agreement, timelines, and things like that the seller is acceptable to. So in that cooperation, it could be closing date. They may be building a house, and they might need 90 days to get out of the house. Or
Right.
it may be a vacant house that we're talking about. So,
Exactly.
So there's some specifics that are covered in that syndication.
Specifics to their situation.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Once that listing agreement is signed with our seller, then of course we're going to talk about staging the house, preparing the house for showing for the market.
Right.
And that entails, we already talked about, prepping your house for sale. The sellers need to be or should be open to our recommendation as professionals as to what they need to do to prepare the house. And also, once the house is pretty and ready to go, we'll bring a professional photographer. We'll take pictures. And those are the pictures that will be placed on the multi-listing service that both other agents and the public will be seeing
Right.
at that point.
And everybody starts their search online, right? So they're going to,
Exactly.
all the updates, Google, Realtor.com, all the places where you'll find listings.
Zillow
they're updated every minute. They're looking for unique content and new listings. So the minute that listing hits, they could be
Some activity
Yeah,
quickly.
showing requests could come, just as soon as it hits. So they do have to be ready. We want to set that expectation that
That's right.
if we this listing goes live at 12 o'clock on Friday, expect some showings Friday.
Exactly.
Really.
And by the way, if they have dogs or pets, that's one thing they need to address. We actually address that during the listing agreement, the signing of it. That if your dogs are okay with visitors and strangers coming into the house, that's fine. But if you have puppies like mine,
Right.
that they get really nervous and they don't like strangers in the house, they start barking their heads off,
Right.
then it's better to take those puppies, those dogs out of the way, out of the house. It's definitely a process that could create some uncomfortable inconvenience to the sellers, to so to speak.
Right.
But it's part of the process, and the sellers, most of the time, they're ready to go through the process
Right.
and make the adjustments, the necessary adjustments.
Well, like you said, for security purposes and safety, sometimes it is easier to take the pets, with you. And, I've seen them in kennels, in the garage, for a short, quick showing and things like that. So, again, that's something that we definitely discuss and have a plan for.
And we alert also everybody
True.
when we place the listing on the MLS.
What to expect.
Right. We tell other agents, hey, there is a German Shepherd. He's going to be in the garage. He's friendly, but he likes to bark, or whatever it is.
Right.
So people know what to expect. So what about this thing over here? What is this?
Woo, so that's a super lock box.
Okay.
So this is, the key box. So, a seller can take that dog, and go to the park for an hour or two, and their key is held at the front door in a secure box. It has an actual IP address. It's a Bluetooth activated. So, when we go to show it, we would use our cell phone and we would put in our.
It's an app.
It's an app, right?
It comes with an app.
Right.
And I love it because it's a lot of people don't know this. It's heavy. This is really a serious piece of technology that is only activated via an app that is given to realtors
Right.
and inspectors and other people that service the listings. But the really cool feature of this is that there's safety attached to it. We know who is, the minute this thing is activated, we know what agent is bringing a buyer at what time. It's recorded. We have a recording of who's getting into the house. It has a number, so it's house specific.
It is. And you know, again, just like you said, it'll say how long the folks, you know, showed the
Stayed
property.
there.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then, you know, from, you know, I can, you know, from anywhere, when I have a listing, I know who's shown it. So I know if somebody didn't show up. You know, they had an
Exactly.
appointment at 2 o'clock and the lockbox was never accessed, you know, so you
Yeah.
know, we can call back and find out what happened. So it's a great tracking method, you know, for showings. But like you said, very secure, you know, it's registered, you know, independently to each person that enters that lockbox.
It's
So-
definitely high tech, and we pay for it.
Oh, we do.
It's a service that, you know, we offer to the sellers for their safety and our safety, but it's something that we pay for.
Right.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break
Okay.
right now, and we will be right back.
Have you seen the new Coldwell Banker North Star signs? Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty has been serving the East Tennessee and North Georgia area since 1974 with 5 offices in Cleveland, Tennessee, Dalton, Ringgold, Cartersville, and Calhoun, Georgia. With the latest technology, CBKR's 145 licensed agents are ready to serve all your real estate needs. Call today, 423-476-5532. They offer residential, commercial, and land and property management. Call and speak to one of their licensed professionals today.
Welcome back, everyone. We are talking about the selling process in real estate, and we're going to continue with the subject. So, Shawn, we get the house on the market, a lot of showings, and finally we got 3 different offers.
Wow.
And the seller says, I like this one, let's go with this one.
Okay.
We discuss with the seller, you know, the pros and the cons, and then he makes a decision. The house is under contract.
Wow. Okay.
What
So-
happens then?
So now we've signed this contract, and it's very specific for a timeline, right?
Yes.
So someone might make an offer on Saturday at 12 o'clock, and they might want a response by 6 p.m., right?
In this market, yes.
So the seller signs it at 5:30. We send it back to the selling agent. We bind the contract, and now our timeline starts. So the big things that happen is they would take a escrow deposit, you know, so they would secure the deposit on the property,
The earnest money.
the earnest money, and then we would go ahead and schedule inspections. So we're in a 10-day inspection period. Termite man might be coming over to your house. We might have a complete home inspection. They might do radon gas, right? Any kind of inspection.
Right. There's several
a whole
kinds.
list, right? And
Yes.
we'll chat more about that when we bring our inspectors on. But at that same time, the buyers, if they're getting financing, and most do, they're going to go make application at the bank because they really need a contract, you
Right.
know, specific to that house to start that process.
For that process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting because behind the scenes, once the contract is in place, a lot of things become activated.
Sure.
In the lending process, the loan process, as well as the title search.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to talk about that. It's a fascinating subject. For some people, it may not be, but for us, it is.
Exactly.
And so all of these things are happening behind the scenes, so to speak, once the house is under contract.
Right.
And like you said, there is a timeline for each thing, and all these forms that we deal with are legally binding and are approved by the state of Tennessee.
Right.
And these are reviewed every year by a committee that all they do is review the forms and adapt those forms based on what's happening in the country, in our local communities, etc. So these are documents that have a lot of implications, right?
Yeah.
And so we're under contract, the inspectors are coming, the inspection went very well, no problems. The seller has been doing previous or prior repairs before
Right.
putting the house on the market. So this is just a smooth sailing with
Yep.
this under contract.
So the buyer's agent would send us a notification, they're moving forward, and they'd order that appraisal, right?
Right.
So from that standpoint, the bank gets involved, they order that appraisal and they order that title work, at the same time. So they want a title report to make sure that there's no liens or encumbrances or something that we didn't know about.
Right,
and
in the title, in the ownership. Yes,
Right.
very important. And that's subject for one entire show.
It really is.
We're going to bring our title person here, one of our title people here, to discuss that. It's very fascinating what they do.
I think so, and a lot of people don't realize what a resource they are, because they're pulling up old deeds, they're looking at recorded surveys on that property.
Right.
If there was, some title work where maybe somebody had passed away and somebody inherited the property, just making sure that chain of title is clear. So when we go to closing,
it conveys free and clear title.
Right, and it's title insurance. It's guaranteed and it's defendable. So if there was a cloud that came up afterwards, they're going to defend, that they looked at this title, and that's what that insurance policy does. For the life of the time you own that property, title insurance will protect you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, then we go to closing, and everybody, the transfer of title takes place.
Right.
And everybody's happy. The sellers have sold their property. The buyers have bought their new home. The agents are happy. And we will continue to stay in touch with our sellers or with our buyers.
Right.
After closing. Closing is not the end of our relationship.
No.
In many ways, it's the beginning, because we, at least in our agency, in our company, we take it seriously, that relationship that was established with our client, whether a seller or buyer. We're talking about sellers in this case, but we continue to provide services for them and check on them, and especially if we help them buy their home after the sale of their previous home.
Yeah.
So they become friends. This is something that I love about real estate. My clients become my friends.
Yeah, definitely. And that's just it. I was driving back from an appointment 2 days ago, and I was in a neighborhood where I'd sold a house recently, and lo and behold, they're doing some work on it. They're putting a new picture window in the front of this house. So they've got the window completely out of the house, and this fellow's very handy,
Yeah.
And I'm dressed in my real estate gear, and he said, "Hey, could you give me a hand?" And I jump out of the car, and now I'm installing a window with these people.
I love it.
And it was great technology. Learned to, how to trim it out and seal it and all that. But really, it's a friendship, it's a bond, that you go through this process with. And a lot of my business now is referrals. People that we've helped previously, and a lot of times we're doing some legwork and research, and it might not lead to anything. But it's a contact that we make, and it's a trust that that people give us the opportunity to help their friends and family, and we love that. So
we really do.
Referrals are really the lifeblood of your business. If you do a good job, you'll get that referral back. So
exactly. We're going to hear a testimonial from a young couple that they were my clients, and we have a little interview with them. So we're going to go to that, and then we'll be right back.
Awesome.
All right.
Hi, Raquel and Garrett. How you guys doing?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great. Thank you so much for joining me for this brief interview. We'll make it short but sweet and to the point. So the first question I have for you guys is, what made you decide to hire a realtor, a real estate agent, to help you sell your home as opposed to try to do it on your own?
Well, I think it being our first time trying to sell a house, we just didn't feel very confident in knowing exactly what we should ask for it. And there's a lot of paperwork involved. It's pretty complicated. So we just wanted to have somebody who was a professional, who knew what they were doing and who could give us good advice and just help us throughout the process.
Well, that makes sense to me, right? And what was the thing that you... Did you get all the results that you expected?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We got around what we were asking for. We, having the market analysis, we got, the ballpark range of what we should get for our house and where the market was at. And the timing wasn't terrible, and went a nice smooth process.
Okay, cool. And what about the thing that you liked the least? Raquel, you go first.
Um, well, I think it took a little bit longer than we were anticipating. It wasn't forever, but we thought it was going to sell like immediately, but it ended up taking about a month or so, a little bit longer. But so that was kind of hard. And then just having to have the house be ready for showings at all times was a little bit challenging. Just trying to keep everything clean and leaving the house with everything set up for a showing. It was just a little bit shift in lifestyle for a little bit.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, that's something that every seller has to be willing to go through as part of the process, but evidently it pays in the long run, because if your house is it's always ready for showings, it'll probably sell sooner as well. How about you, Garrett? What was the thing that you liked the least in the process?
Yeah, I mean, the wait was definitely a little longer than we expected, and then just yeah, and then obviously keeping the house clean, but just seeing the houses go so fast on the other end of trying to buy a house. There was a lot of times we were trying to buy a house and it would just go really fast, and not seeing ours go so fast was kind of a little irritating, but it was definitely helpful to get on the closing date and get that date booked.
Yeah. And what about the things that you enjoyed the most?
For me, it was on, like I said, about the selling the house was, buying the house was nice to have on the other end of having kind of a look to the future and on the bigger, better things, and kind of have that anticipation of what's coming.
Awesome. And Raquel?
Well, have to say the closing date. That was a very exciting day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, you guys. I don't want to take more of your time. And remember that closing was not the end of our relationship. So I'm here to answer any questions that you may have and provide any recommendation for any service that you need for your new house. I'm sure you're enjoying it. And thank you again for joining me today. And we'll continue to be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we're back. Yeah, I hope you liked that interview. It was a good experience for them. Really, my heart was all about getting them the most money for their property and just helping them through the process. It was their first time selling a property, so it was great to help this young couple. Shawn, let's talk about our giveaways for this week.
Oh, cool. So we're going to do 2 Home Depot gift cards.
Okay.
And, with the close of a successful sale, I always like to, I give out a gift card maybe for a Home Depot or for some paint, just as a thank you, a small token. But we'll have a drawing today for 2 $25 dollar Home Depot gift cards. And we're just going to use our cell phone numbers, and if the first people to contact us, they can't be members of Caldwell Banker or the radio station, but anybody
Right.
out there in the public that's listening on Facebook, hit us up, and we'll share it on the next show who our winners were. And Home Depot's not a sponsor, but they're a good friend. Every
Yes.
time somebody closes a property, you'll see them at Home Depot. They'll be going there for a light fixture or some paint, and so. That's one
They're
of the
great.
things. Yeah, it's one of the things with real estate is we do spark the economy. As soon as a house sells, people are out buying refrigerators and mini blinds and things like that.
Absolutely.
So, they come in very handy. So.
And actually, Home Depot might be one of our sponsors.
You never know.
So
we'll ask them.
We will definitely ask them.
Yeah.
So yeah, give us a call and we will give away these 2 $25 Home Depot gift cards. And so we know that real estate buying and selling can be a little challenging. For people that don't have experience, unless you are an investor in real estate, it's always a bit of a challenge to know the order of things, how to best manage this process, and that's where here. We love what we do, working with sellers, working with buyers, and help these people have a good experience and actually enjoy this process. It could be stressful.
Oh,
It could
definitely.
be very stressful. People have to sell their homes for different reasons all the time. And we hope to to be that professional that walks right along with this family and help them with their needs to get the most money, to be safe in the process, their belongings or whatnot, and just at the end of that process be able to say, hey, here's your check, your proceeds, and let's stay in touch. We're here with resources. One important thing that we offer is tremendous list with vendors, people that service homes, you name it,
Right.
Roofers, electricians, painters.
Yeah.
That we can keep recommending. We want to be your resource.
Right. And at Coldwell Banker, we're lucky because, we have 2 franchises, residential and commercial.
And commercial.
And we have property management. So, those 300 plus homes that we manage, we do run into a lot of vendors, that are doing flooring and painting and heat and air conditioning. So
plumbing,
and the list goes on. And you always, come across where you might need somebody, and we can be a resource. But same with buyers and sellers. We have buyers and seller guides, that we'll share with people, that they can reach out. They can do some quick checklist, and go over the questions that they might have. We don't know what they don't know,
Exactly.
So we can send out these checklists, and they can, what questions do you have? What are you most interested in? How can we help you? How can we be a service and a resource? And we really try to help as best we can to fill those gaps, where they might not have the exact knowledge or street
or
knowledge
resources. And like I said, we want to be that resource. The closing is not the end of our relationship with our clients. We have an honor to be part of this family, have become friends, and yes, we have great information to help you along over the years with to the maintenance of your house or any other issue related to your house. So think of Lizzy Cohen, Shawn Matthews, and all of our team, great team of agents in our company, Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty, as your resource, your professional friend that will be an advocate for you as a seller or as a buyer. That's our goal.
That is our goal.
That's what we strive for.
Yeah, and we're busy throughout the week, but it's what we do. I think the more people we have to reach out to and talk to, it keeps us on point in our game.
Absolutely.
Every day, I talked to somebody yesterday. They're looking to buy a piece of land. They want to buy a new manufactured home to place on it, and
awesome.
And they didn't know the ins and outs of it. And funny story, I've done it before, and what dealerships are you working with? What lender have you been in contact with? And I kind of, went down the process, and I said, my service doesn't cost anything. I can help you find that piece of land. And they were delighted to know that. So now we're out shopping for, a 1 acre piece of land here in the area. And it's going to be so rewarding to see that go from, a vacant lot to a home, somebody that's going to be in our school system and enjoying, the grocery stores, and to see the beginning to the end is really neat. That's part of the process that I enjoy. So, again, what are we going to talk about next week?
Next week, we are going to talk about the value of a real estate agent.
Okay.
And again, it sounds self-serving, but once you hear all the details, you will realize why for sale by owner is really not in the best interest of the seller.
Sure.
Especially in the time in which we live, that unfortunately safety is a big issue. And that's just one of the areas that we cover. We've got your back. We have lock boxes. We have, a system to show your house, to open your house to the public. that's just one area. So we're going to talk about
Right.
what we bring to the table.
Right, and when we see a for sale by owner, we call them. Right?
Exactly.
And we introduce ourselves and offer our services. I love to preview for sale by owners just to see what they have. And we've helped indicate on value. Maybe they might be asking not enough, right?
Exactly. Many times they're surprised.
Yeah, and so I would say definitely, even if you're thinking about selling your home on your own, reach out. Again, a consultation is free, right?
Exactly.
And you want to see what you're up against.
Exactly.
What does syndication mean? So
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Well, we ran out of time. Thank you so much for your attention. We will be here next Saturday, Lord willing. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.